All right, we're going to go ahead and do the first stage of this project where we're going to set the project up and create a prototype model of our aircraft. Actually, this aircraft exercise is more or less just an exercise of you learning how to make a box model by composition and how to use the scale tool, um, and of course the move tool to move these bits and pieces around, and also taking advantage of the fact we're going to build this aircraft all around the origin 000. So we need to start with Unity Hub. We're going to go ahead and click on a new project, and we will name this project Flyer 2022, and I'm going to put my last name. You should put your last name. And I've already got my destination set up to my Documents, Unity Pro projects. Make sure you click on your little folder over here and make sure that your location also says, your Documents folder and your Unity projects folder. You probably don't have the word Pro right there. If you wanted to impress me, you could change it, but be careful, don't break things. But store your project in that folder. You should be able to find it. It's on your computer. And click the Create Project button. Of course, Unity will take a few moments. On your machines, a little bit longer than mine, but we'll sit here and twiddle our thumbs while even my computer grinds this one out. Now, when Unity opens up, because it's a brand new project, it's going to go to the default layout. You all should be able to click on the layout button over here. See the layout button? Switch it over to my layout. That way it matches the layout that you should be accustomed to using. Okay. And start off here. We're going to really need more of our view here. The project comes with an assets folder and a scenes folder. It comes with a sample scene. And that sample scene is going to be the first thing we're going to get rid of. Please select your scenes folder. Then select your sample scene. Click the sample scene and you can rename it main. Enter key, and when it asks you what do you want to do, click reload. And there we go. Now our scene is called main. That's the first thing I want you to do. Then in our main here, we're going to create a plane. So we're going to create a 3D object plane, and we're going to position it at the origin. So X is 0, Y is 0, Z is 0. Positions are all set to 0. And we're also going to set this plane to have a scale of 50 in X and 50 in Z. It's gigantic. We'll zoom out here. Our aircraft's going to be a lot smaller, but this is just going to give us a feel for the how the scene's going to unfold. One thing I do want you to do with this plane in its Y coordinate, set that to -15. That's going to put the plane down just a little bit below the X and Z axis, because we're going to be doing some work in the X and Z axis while we build our aircraft over there at 000. So this plane, let's go ahead and just call this ground. So name that plane ground. And so over here in our assets folder, let's go ahead and start creating some folders. We're going to need some. For certain, we're going to need a folder called materials. We're going to need a folder called prefabs. We're going to need a folder called models. Now, Mr. Booth just made a mistake. He made that folder models inside of the prefabs folder, not where I want it. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to grab that models folder, I'm going to drag it and drop it on the assets folder. That's going to then put it in order under the assets folder. I don't want it to be a child. So let's see, materials, models, prefabs, scenes. And that's where we're going to be at for today. And immediately, let's go jump in the materials folder. So click on the materials folder, hit the plus in a material here, and we'll make, how about a green? Um, or we'll just call this one ground. Won't make it quite the green that I might use on our vehicle. So this ground, I'm going to give it a kind of a grassy-ish green, not a bright green. And then I will apply this material to the plane, and there we go. So I got my ground here set up. All right, great. Now I want to create my aircraft. Let's create, well, try something different here. Let's make a capsule. And let's see. We'll press our Z key to zoom in on it. Oops. It wants me to name it right now. Okay. Plane body. We're going to call it the plane body. Okay. Now I will press the F key, and there it is. Um, I want to put that thing at 000. So I'm going to reset its position. Mouse up here and press the F key again, and there we go. Now I can see this little capsule that I've put into the scene here. It's very important that this capsule be positioned at 000. Very important. And then one thing we're going to do here, let's see, the capsule. Let's see what happens if I rotate it 90 in X. There we go. If I rotate the capsule 90 degrees in X, that doesn't affect what direction the Z-axis faces. That's important. So as we start to build this thing, it's going to be really important to remember that that blue Z-axis, that represents forward for our aircraft. And it's very important that you build your vehicle, and later, after we get this one built, you will have the opportunity to, build what you want. Build a vehicle, keep it to scale, because you're going to want both of these vehicles. You'll want this airplane, and you're going to want the thing you're going to create. That's going to be the next exercise. But well, to get there, you're going to have to get through this. So I'm starting with this capsule. And by the way, every time I've done this before, I always did this with a sphere. And I may still go back to it, but probably not. I'm probably going to see it through to the end with a capsule. So here we go. Got it oriented the right direction. The positive z-axis is definitely oriented along the length of the capsule. To get it there, if you missed it, I rotated it 90 degrees in X. That's all. And do make sure that the capsule's X, Y, and Z positions are 000. We're going to build this thing around the origin. This is going to let us take advantage of symmetry easily as we place some objects that we make on one side exactly in the same position on the opposite side by changing a negative to a positive or a positive to a negative. So here we go. We need to make this longer. Let's see. There it is. Yeah. Pressing the scale in the Y. Now that's not half bad. Right. Not half bad. Okay, so that worked out better than I expected it was going to. I'm pretty darn happy with that. In fact, I'm even going to leave the other scales at 1. Why not? It's got a good shape. Um, you can look at the other, or I'm sure I will in class show you some of the others that I've built. But trying something new here. Instead of using a sphere, and what I did to the sphere was got the scale tool, and I pulled the sphere out kind of like this. And then I squished the sphere down and squeezed the sphere a little bit, and You can see how these come out with slightly different shapes. But anyway, I'm not going to use a sphere. For this project, I'm going to use a capsule. So here, back on the capsule, and let me get back on the move tool. All right. So I'm oriented to what forward is going to be, and I'm pretty happy with the shape of my plane's body here. So I do want to give it a material. So I'm going to right click over here and we'll create a material and a red. And I'm going to make this kind of a flat red. Yeah, a flat red. Okay. And I'm going to apply that flat red. I'm going to give it a bit of a metallic sheen. And all right, there we go. So there's the plane's body. Next, I'm going to make a wing. So wings, I'm going to do a little different here. Also for this one, who says I have to have just anyway, you'll see where I'm going with this. So I know where forward is. I know I'm going to want my wings to kind of be swept back a little bit. So let's go ahead and let's make a wing. So I'm going to create another capsule. And let's see. If I rotate it in Z, 90. Whoa. That's not rotation, Robert. There we go. So I rotated it 90 degrees in Z, and that worked out pretty good. And then let's see. We're going to reset its position, which will just basically clamp it down at the origin. And then I will just slide it out, just grabbing it along the x-axis, so I can use it from that perspective. And then what I'm going to do here is I'm going to grab the scale tool. The scale tool's right over here, this toolbar. That's the rotate tool. That's the scale tool. You see where my mouse is at? Scale tool and rotate tool. With the scale tool active, I can grab the x-axis right here and I can squeeze that thing down fairly small. And you can see it over here. Yeah. All right. Now, I want to make it longer in Y. So yeah, pull that out in Y. Grab the move tool and move it out a little bit. And then I want to look at it from the top. There's my, let's see, my directional light. All right, there we go. Now the directional light is moved out of the way. And so let's see here. Plane's body. Now, I'm going to embed that in there, and then I'm also going to give it a bit of a rotation. I think it's going to be a rotation in Y of about, let's see, 10 degrees, 15. All right. And then another rotation. I think it's a rotation in, yeah, it is a rotation in Z, yeah. I'm going to rotate it down. Maybe instead of 90, that looks like it's close to 80. Maybe I'll go 75. There we go. I'm going to move the whole thing down. All right, there we go. Nice. Down a little bit further. Okay, now I'm going to duplicate this. And let's see. Got from the top here. The rotation is going to be negative 15. Yep, negative 15 rotation. Instead of 75, 90, 90 plus 15, 105. And then let's see here. Wow. And then I think I get something for free too. Nice. And I do get something for free. the other variable to set right here. Not 1.89, negative 1.89. There we go. And now that's relative. These capsules are in relative positions to one another, the way that I have it set up. If I click on them both, they're hooked up nicely. And all of that basically, I manipulated the numbers here in the transform on the clone. Just watch what I did, and it'll end up in the right spot. So let's see here. I better name these before I start losing their names here. This is going to be my right lower wing. Right lower wing. And then I'm also going to have a left lower wing. And then the angles here. I really like the angles here. Let me see if I can I sort this out? If I duplicate this one, so let's go ahead and duplicate it. And then if I, instead of negative 15, no, that's, I want all those rotations to stay just the way they are. I want to play with the position here. Let me make that positive. Ooh, there we go. And we'll make that positive. And there we go. Let me see how it looks. And the angle is off. Make that positive. Not bad. Okay. That's going to be my right upper wing. Then I'm going to grab this wing right here, the right lower wing. I'll Control D duplicate it. I'll name it right here. It's going to be my left upper wing. And let's see, what are all the things I have to change? Well, I'm going to have to put that X back to a negative, and that Y has got to be changed to a positive, the Y in position. And this rotation right here has got to be made into a negative. And then I think if I tilt this around, everything should be, yeah, lined up pretty nice. Cool. So, got all these wings right here. Let's go ahead and get a material for these wings. Oh man, Booth. Now, did anybody notice that I put these materials inside of the models folder? Do you know how to move them? If you wanted to move them into the materials folder where they belong, you just drag them and you drop them. There we go. Hey, fix your materials folder. If you caught that beforehand, good job. Now, in our materials folder, please click the little plus and select a material, and let's make a nice yellow. And we'll set that color here, something in the yellow spectrum. And then I'm going to apply this to the wings. Alrighty, cool. Okay, so now with these wings in place, again, I can select one of them right here, and you can check out all of the settings right there. If you wanted me to clean a number up like that, I could make that like 0.1, and it's going to look just fine. I could make this 2.2, and it's going to look fantastic. Just have them all clean. This one right here could be minus 0.5, and no one would ever know the difference. It could be 1.9, and that would probably be just fine. And I could go through if I really wanted to clean up all of these numbers, 1.9 and 5, let's see, 2.2 and One. And as you can see, nothing really changes. These numbers on this scale, it's not going to be a big deal. I think there's one more I could do this too. If you just want to have clean numbers. There we go. So that takes care of the wings, capsules. All right, now next I'm going to work on the tail. Make sure that, man, that body's got to be pointing towards forward. And let's see, all of the wings. Maybe I want to move them all collectively forward just a little bit. All right, yeah. Okay, cool. Now we'll work on the tail. The tail. Let's go ahead and make two new. Yeah, I'll go with the capsule. Make sure we position it at 000 to start off with. We always want to start from 000 and move along axes as we move it into position over here. I think I'm going to rotate it 90 degrees in X, or pardon me, 90 degrees in Z. A 90-degree Z rotation gets me rotated just about the way I want it to be rotated. Grab the scale tool and grab the X axis on the scale tool and give it a nice squish. And maybe tuck it in a little bit in the y-axis so the tail's not too huge. And let's see here. This is already looking like kind of a nice angle of view on the whole thing. Wouldn't it be nice if we could make the camera have this view? This is a good time to do this. Get your view set just kind of like this so you can see the back of your aircraft. You can even zoom in on it a little bit if you want, Yeah, about like that. Get zoomed in on it. And when you got it positioned in a spot that you like, select the main camera. Got the main camera selected? Press the Control key, press the Shift key, and press F. And you'll notice that the camera will move right into position to match the view of the scene view. Now let's get back to work on this tail. Actually, this part of it is called a stabilizer. Stabilizer. Alrighty. And then I might even pull the stabilizer out a little bit here. And now because I'm modeling, back to modeling again here, I want to look at this carefully. All right. Let's see, the stabilizer, I'm going to paint that yellow. And then the tail, the actual vertical parts of the tail. I'm going to use capsules for those. Although I could use something a little different. Let's try, just for grins and giggles, let's try a cylinder. Okay. And I do want it to be vertical just like this. But I don't want it to be quite that tall. And of course, to start off with, I want to make sure I position it where? Right at the origin, at 000. I'm going to kind of move it out along the z-axis and move it over along the x-axis, kind of into place, right there along the side. And then I'm going to grab the scale tool, and with it in place right there, I'm going to squeeze along the z-axis, and that's going to squeeze that down. I'm going to squeeze along the y-axis, and that's going to squeeze that down, and I am happy with the result I'm getting. A little more squeezing right there. Thin that down. And then from the side here, and then I can get the move tool. Look at this from the top. There, a nice orthographic top view. Might even try to pull that out a little bit. All right. Still too tall. Back to the scale tool. Bring that down a little bit. All right. Generally happy with it now. Okay. Now that part, I'm going to color red. Alrighty. And then, I like the position that it's in. I'm going to go ahead and give it a name, which will be left tail. And then we will duplicate it, Control D, and we will name it right tail. And get the move tool here and change its X position. Change its X position from a negative to a positive. And just changing its X position from a negative to a positive will just snap it right over there on the other side. And now it's in place. Okay. All right. Now I have to decide, where am I going to put the engines? Or shall I just go to the canopy? Let's do the canopy. All right. The canopy is going to be a sphere. So I'm going to right click here, 3D object, sphere. I'll name it canopy. And I will position it at the origin, right? Reset its position so it's over there at 0, 0, 0. And now relative to 0, 0, 0, I'm going to move it over here to the front and get the scale tool. And I'm going to start squeezing this thing. Like I'll squeeze it in X and I'll squeeze it a little bit in Y. And then I'll grab the move tool and I'll move it up. Maybe even give it an X rotation of about 30 degrees. No, too much. Put an X rotation of about 15 degrees. And then move it up a little bit there. There we go. All right. That looks fairly nice. Nice little bubble there on the top. Nose. Okay. Now, as far as the engines go, let's use capsules. So right click, 3D object, capsule. And let's see, I want these to be facing towards the front. So I want to rotate it along the x-axis, give it a 90-degree rotation along the x-axis. Position it at 0, 0, 0. That way we got it starting from the origin. We want it starting from the origin. And then at it from the top here. I'm going to move it forward and out to the side a little bit. And I'll rotate this around. Let's see here. Out. Yeah, out to about right there. Okay, and then back among that. And then I'm going to stretch it in Y. Oops, too much. And then I think in X and Z, I'm going to bring it down to about 0.6 in X and 0.6 in Z. That will maintain its round shape. Frame on it here so I can move it back a little bit into here. Yeah, I like it. Maybe So I'm not liking it, but I think I'm going to work with it here. Yeah. Okay. I'm happy with it. Yeah. Position that at the end. And then I will duplicate it. All right. So what am I going to call this? Engine. Duplicate it and move down. Let me frame on it here so I can see how it's looking. Maybe up a little bit. All right, cool. Now I can take these two engines. We'll call these engine, right engine, top, and right engine, bottom. All right. Now we'll go ahead and I will pick both of them, and I will control deduplicate them, and then I will change their X values to both be negative. And again, the beauty of building this thing around the XYZ axis just makes those things automatically end up right where they need to be. Cool. And then what color should I make these? All right, it's time to start getting crazy. Create material. This one's going to be purple. Right. I want it to be a nice metallic purple. Deep purple and as metallic-y as possible. And then these things are going to get painted purple. All right, cool. I like the way this thing is coming together. Now, um, the wrap up here. I mean, if you built this thing, and you should have, this is what you got to build. Um, uh, then you've unlocked the ability to be able to go ahead and make what you want to make. I have built now quite a few of these, and it's now it's your chance to like let something come out of your head and create a vehicle that we can use. One thing I'm also going to add to this is maybe some kind of weapon system, um, but I'll do that later to show how we can make changes. But we're still not done yet because at the moment, all we have are all of these objects just sitting here in the hierarchy, and nothing's really organized. By the way, those last two engines, one of them was supposed to be named engine top. The other one was supposed to be named left engine bottom. They didn't need those silly ones at the end of there, right? So making sure all those are named. That's good. Now, I, I want you to create an empty game object in the hierarchy, and name this game object prototype one. And what I want you to do is I want you to select all of the objects that your plane is made out of. The plane body, right lower wing, left lower wing, right upper wing, left upper wing, stabilizer, left tail, right tail, canopy, right engine top, right engine bottom, left engine top, left engine bottom. Select them all and then click, drag them, and well, hold the presses. I forgot one thing. Well, this, yeah, this is important. That prototype reset its position. Man, I did it on every single one, but I didn't. I almost didn't do it here on that one. But this would have been a very important, crucial step. Um, before we link everything up here. Take a look at the plane body. Plane body. If I select the plane body right here, you can see it's blue. The positive x, pardon me, positive z-axis is pointing in the forward direction for that ship. And we want to make sure that this prototype, this empty game object, is basically representing it's going to represent the whole thing, all those components. We want to make sure we position that at 0, 0, 0. Actually, really didn't matter, but anyway. Select everything, the plane body down to the left engine bottom. Drag it all and drop it into the prototype. Everything now got repositioned relative to the position of the prototype. So I mean, it's just the prototype is considered to be 0, 0, 0 for all those objects. So we built everything at 0, 0, 0. Now we've built a prototype. I would like you to please open your models folder and drop your prototype into your models folder. That makes a model of your prototype. Click on your prefabs folder. Drag your prototype and drop it into the prefab folder and tell Unity to create an original prefab. And there we go. Now your prototype is a prefab. So that pretty much wraps up stage one. We've got a flyable vehicle here that we're gonna put this thing in motion. And now that you're done with this, as soon as I check this, you'll get the green light to go ahead and build what you want to build. And just to share with you, even what I built, let me drag this down here and show you. So you can see, here's another one of my prototypes. And I'll be sharing this with you in class. But, I like this little prototype. It's kind of cute. It's already got weapon systems on it. Yes. So anyway, thank you. And I hope you all were safe during the crisis there in Salinas, and I will see you in class.